Before you go, I want to just add what Rod said. If you're interested, there's an herb. Actually, it's a root called the astragalus root. I showed it on the screen, and it helps to maintain telomerase, which maintains the length of your telomeres, which is what he was talking about. You can actually go get that at any health food store.
Oh yeah, can you name that one more time?
Yeah, it's ASTRAGALUS, astragalus root. And I don't know if that's what you're talking about, Rod, but it's a supplement that I use, and basically it helps activate telomerase in your body, which is an enzyme, and that keeps your telomeres long, like in your actual DNA. It keeps it from. That's how we age. Our telomeres start to shorten. So it's called astragalus root, and you can go research it. It's really good. You should take it as a supplement. I don't know, Rod, what do you think? Is it good? Because you said a chemical or something like a drug, but there's an actual, like I'm saying, there's a natural supplement. What do you think about that? Have you heard of it?
I haven't heard of that particular root. I haven't done research on it. Before I had came across the telomeres treatments that they was putting out, I was onto the studies from a gerontologist out of UCLA named Cynthia Kenyon, and she found a receptor on the cells that allows also the aging process to ensue, which contributes to the deterioration of the telomere. So go look up, she got lectures on YouTube, Cynthia Kenyon from UCLA Berkeley. She's the gerontologist who had discovered the human aging hormone. And she created a blocker, but they still doing what's called animal trials.
While we're still talking about South Africa, I did want to ask this question in Antarctica. So Credo Mutwa talked of the moon being a spaceship that came into Earth's orbit millions of years ago. Based on South African mythology, and some Earth-based South African beliefs, they remember a time when the moon didn't exist in Earth's orbit, and there was a fog that when the moon came, it regulated the oceans and seas and took the fog away. He also talks, speaking to aliens, South Africa being close to Antarctica. What do you think that things like when you talk about the Anunnaki and different aliens and things like that, is there some alien life form in Antarctica? And what do you think about inner Earth theory?
First, the last question first. The Earth is cavernous. It got giant caverns. A good example is the Mammoth Cave in Kentucky, right? So just imagine that somebody can turn these into living quarters and be able to sustain themselves. All they would need is the flow of water and some kind of light in order to illuminate the cavern, and they would be able to live in there indefinitely if they know how to greenhouse farm. They have underground bunkers that's been emptied in Switzerland where people was living there. But now they tell it as if it was just a contingency for war. But Switzerland is the only country that has been the neutral zone ever since it was established, and they've been financing both sides of all wars. So those people that was living there, I don't know where they went, but they ain't there no more, because now they are showing and exposing those bunkers, thousands of them, which is cities underground. There's also cities underground in the Middle East, in India, and cities underground in Europe, and cities underground over here.
So remember there's a pilot that went down to Antarctica, and he said that he got guided in. I think it was Robert something. He went into Antarctica, and it guided his ship into it, and he got to see a whole city down there.
That was Admiral Richard Byrd. His first voyage was into the center of the Earth through the North Pole. His second voyage was supposed to be a trip to Antarctica, which he ended up going to the inner Earth through Antarctica as well, according to his report.
So was that a cave, or was that does that prove that inner Earth exists?
Well, if it's a cave, it's still inner Earth. Even if it's just a cave, it's still inner earth. It's inside the earth. That's inner earth.
Right, good point.
I want to ask you, Rod, with that question. Like, I'm so glad you brought that up. You know how people say, well, our people aren't from caves. We're not from caves. So what do you think about that when we hear about this? You know, you've probably heard of it, I'm sure, where the early humans had to go retreat under the earth, underground, to survive from, I think it's these watchers that you talk about, but they say Neanderthals. And also, I want to ask you that too. Are Neanderthals the watchers? So, but I want to ask you, what do you think about when they say Black people, they make the distinction, or we make the distinction saying Black people aren't from caves? When you talk about inner earth, can you answer those two questions for me, please?
If it's a place to inhabit anywhere on the earth, in the earth, or around the earth's surface, we didn't been there.
Yes, sir.
We didn't been there. We already know in our collective historical record everything to know about Earth. The people that don't, they the ones that's now learning about Earth as your scientists, your explorers, etc. They the ones trying to figure out everything.
Okay.
When our consciousness come back all the way online, a lot of the stuff that I'm saying ain't gonna sound so crazy no more.
No, that makes a lot of sense what you just said, and I absolutely agree about that point. And then I asked the second part. I forgive me that I'm just overloading you with questions, but I have a lot of questions always for you. So what about and forgive me if you already addressed it, but when we talk about the watchers, you know, interchanging Anunnaki, watchers, Nephilim, whoever they are, like, are they at all related to what we're told in science as like the Neanderthal, who's not and even the
Denisovian. So
yeah,
look,
so tell me about that. Are those the actual watchers?
The watchers, they look like regular people and they live around us, but they don't participate in hardly anything, but they watching everything going on. They creating what's called a eyes-on approach to the Akashic records being uploaded.
Oh, wow.
That's why they call them the watchers. They don't, like, the dirt might be going on and they might be everywhere the dirt at, but they don't never participate. They just need to see who the dirty players was. So now it's in the Akashic record. So when we finally get this solar flare that wake us all the way up, all that information, we gonna know every dirty player, whether we want to know them or not.
Okay, like are they like, you're saying like sleeper cell kind of people?
Almost, except they might not never be used in war like a sleeper cell will. They might just only have to see the dirt being done.
Wow. What about this? I keep on saying I want to talk to you because I actually had an interaction with something when I was smaller. So I'm not stuck on the word watcher, the name, but it was a very, very big, like tall shadow. It wasn't even a shadow. It was like I couldn't decipher what it looked like, but it was a very big presence. And it was like, it gave a vibe of male. And so what are those shadow people that we hear about that come and manifest to us? Like, what are those? Those aren't watchers then when they interact with us?
Normally those are ancestors. And the reason why you don't really get a good visual of them because they're outside of the three-dimensional 1% light spectrum, right? Anything outside of your light spectrum, it can still communicate with you. It can see you, but you can't see it. But when it starts communicating with you using psychic channels, you'll get imagery of the outline or the layout, or you will see something that will identify who it is. Psychic self-defense tell you that anything that comes into your circle, right, which is your 6-foot perimeter around your body, your questions is, who are you, where you come from, and what do you want? Because you don't have to agree to participate in anything they present to you. Those are from the laws of magic, right? They teach people that in magic, that when they encounter a entity, they make the entity have to identify themselves to you and state their nature of business with you and who sent them if somebody sent them. And a lot of times these are egregores, which is called a thought form, where somebody can concentrate enough mental energy to go perform a task that's outside of the light spectrum, like communicate with somebody through a projection of imagery of the mind, because all minds are connected, whether we want to accept it or not.
When they communicate, because as I said, I had a couple of interactions, it always has a very, very, very deep voice. Like, what is that? I'm sure you've heard of this.
The voice of many waters.
Why is it so deep like that?
Okay, so you got to remember, they coming from a different frequency tone as you. In the 3D, we have a spectrum of frequencies that we can intonate through vocalization. Mm-hmm. And in the spirit realm, they got a different set of vocal frequencies, but they talking to you psychically. Part of them sounding like they have a deep, heavy voice is the sense of authority. That's what the name Enlil mean, the Lord of the booming voice. Right? But it also means Lord of the Starfleet, the governor of the one who carried the ships from the Starfleet. So we got two different meanings, because the word in Sumerian Akkadian mean Lord. Lil mean booming voice, right? But it's applied as a secondary application to the one who is in charge of command, because the one in charge of command is in charge of the voice of command, which they say sound like the voice of many waters.
Yes, definitely. That's a beautiful answer. When can I sit down and actually have a one-on-one with you about the encounters? And I want to actually have you talk to us about how that relates to the, like the Dushi, the Sasquatch. I want to do it tomorrow. No, when? Like, do you think we could do something this week?
Yeah, you got to inbox me.
I'm just going to go through Sean Netter. I'll go through Sean Netter. Is that okay?
Okay, just have him. Yeah, just have him text me where you want the information. I can't do nothing tomorrow. Either Friday or Saturday, I might be able to work something with you.
The reason I'm saying this is I have 1,000 questions. What you just answered with the voice, and you related it to Voice of Many Waters. I never put that together, and I'm really good at putting stuff together. So I have so many things that I want to actually pick your brain on with my encounters, because you know what happens, Mr. Hayes? They continue, like, there's cycles of my life when they come in. And I know something is, I don't know how to explain it, but you get what I'm saying? Like, we'll talk, we deal with, because yours is more along the lines of metaphysical and mysticism. So that's a different show from today. But yeah, get with Si. He'll set us up for either Friday or Saturday. Awesome. Thank you.
I have a question too. Before I know Saturday trying to leave. CERN, hold on real quick. CERN is trying to separate dark matter from, or trying to find out what the God particle dark matter is. And then they're saying that there's creatures coming up out of that when they actually charge that system up. There are actually things coming up out of that, and then you have like this Mandela effect that's like actually happening. What do you think that they're trying to do? Do you think it's like they're trying to create like a worm, not a wormhole, but like try to like figure out a way to space travel through this? Or what is your idea on CERN and what their intentions are?
CERN is doing a lot of things. The God particle is called the Higgs boson. They discovered in 2012 on December 26th. The thing about the CERN is it's a collider to smash particles, and they've been trying to figure out, until they found what's called the God particle, what gives matter density when everything is created from light. And the answer came in with the God particle discovery of the Higgs boson. dark matter, they've been studying longer than they have the Higgs boson, because they call dark matter the ether, call it spirit, they call it they got a whole bunch of names for it, but it's still the same substance. Right. It's the thing that ties all things together through unified field effect, dark matter, which we call it the waters of the Great Mother, her primordial uterine secretions of creation.
So do you think that what they're trying to do is create like a wormhole, like a dark, or like a black hole that they could try to like do space travel through, because they know they can't?
No, they already know how to do portals. They reverse engineered several stargates in World War II. So they already know how to create stargates and open portals. Whatever they doing, I believe what they trying to do is what they did before, to trap us in another infinity loop, is to explode atomic like bomb between two dimensions and collapse them on each other, so you stuck in the figure eight infinity loop.
Which explains like the whole Mandela effect that's happening every time they charge that machine up, because it'll make things change and things like that. Well, and you just like debunked what's his name, Billy Carson, because Billy Carson said they're trying to create a wormhole and travel through it and bend.
Stop, Genesis. Please stop. Please stop. Please stop. Don't mix my brother up with Billy Carson right now, man. Don't do that.
No, he just debunked him. He just killed him.
Yeah, right now his Billy Carson ain't doing too well. He's gonna have to come up, get up on that. You gotta
I was believing him, and Billy Carson. I was like, damn, you just killed him. Thank you for that. Thank you for clearing that up, because I was believing that shit. Thank you. Wow. Wow.
All right. So
they already had Stargate.
All right. I'm getting ready to close this thing out.
Okay, in the defense of brother.
Who's talking, man? I'm talking.
Oh, sorry.
Mr. Williams, go ahead, brother. Go ahead and get your last question in. We get ready to close this thing out.
Okay. In the wars, we're dealing with the Anunnaki. Enki had a son. Enlil had a son. And Enlil's son was Enkidu, or who I'm kind of shy with the name. Slight. Was it Mark? It was Vegeta that was imprisoned in what we called Antarctica.
That was Marduk. That was Enlil's son. That was Enlil's son named Marduk, that he named after Enki's son Marduk.
Yeah.
So in the Anunnaki Wars, what they do is they change names. So Enki had a son named Marduk, son of Enki and Damkina. Yeah. And Enlil named one of his sons Murdoch. It looked the same in Akkadian writing, but they two different people, and you can only tell by what they doing which one is being spoke of. And this is so that the information get lost in history. And both of them, Enki's son and Enlil's son, is both looked at as the bad guy, when one of them was here to help and the other one was here to do harm.
Yeah, well, right. He was imprisoned in Antarctica, right?
Yeah, that's what that's in the book of Enoch.
Yes, but then it go to a step further. It was Marduk. There was when we go back to the wars, when the ship, Marduk crashed into Kai and exploded and made Earth afterwards. I'm just elaborate on that.
You talk about when it was the great planet Tiamat before the arrival of the moon. That's what you're talking about. That's not the war. That's the incursion when they first came and they couldn't navigate through what they call the atmosphere. They couldn't navigate through the solar system because they didn't know the plotting of the planets in their first arrival. That was the signal of their first arrival in the record. Right.
But it was Nibiru up under Marduk though, right?
Right. So what happened, he wasn't under Marduk at that time. It was under Anu rule. But Enki's son Marduk was told by Enki to go secure Nibiru when Enlil launched his Earth attack.
Yeah.
When Enlil launched his Earth attack, Anu is on Earth. That's why he waited for Anu to make the visit to stop the war between Enki and Enlil. And when he got down here, that's when Enlil launched the largest attack on all of Enki's installments or bases. When he did that, Enki told his son Marduk secure Nibiru. The only way they would know if it was secured, when the message came back, Nibiru is now called Marduk. Right? That means Nibiru is secure from the war that's taking place on Earth. And then right behind this is when the formation of the Galactic Council was formed, because the war on Earth began to affect other places. And they say, until y'all figure it out, y'all stay in this enclosure. We're going to put y'all in this Pleiadian light lock and with the Arcturian support, so nobody can leave until y'all resolve the matter, which was the Anunnaki war on Earth. It was the war in heaven biblically that landed on Earth, right? Because if you go to the Bible, it would tell you there was the war in heaven. And it say, and Satan and his angels fought against Michael and his angels, and Michael and his angels cast Satan to the earth. Right? So the war in heaven landed on earth. It didn't mean the war stopped. It just means that it came to earth.
All right. No, that's enough, Mr. Williams. We got to move on. Nazarene, let's go. Talk to us.
Thank you. Hey, man, salute, brother Rod. Love what you do, man.
Appreciate it.
Real quick, is it a portal in the Grand Canyon? And what is a good technique, to really know who you are? If you can answer that for me.
It is a Stargate. All of the temples, it was 12 Stargates on Earth. Right? And you can walk from the